For thousands of years, cultures separated by oceans, languages, and entire continents have all told the same story: a world-ending flood, a handful of survivors, and a civilization wiped from the face of the earth. But what if this wasn't just a myth? What if the flood really happened, and the world we know today is built on the ruins of something far older? Across the ancient world, the same pattern appears again and again. A great civilization becomes advanced or corrupt. A warning is given. A catastrophic flood wipes out the world. A chosen survivor preserves knowledge. Humanity begins again. You see this in the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Book of Genesis, the Greek story of Deucalion, the Hindu story of Manu, the Maya Popol Vuh, and even the Sumerian king list, which simply states, "Then the flood swept over." Either every culture copied the same story, or they all remembered the same event. So if the flood myth was real, what could have caused it? The first possibility is the end of the last ice age, around 12,000 years ago. As the planet warmed, sea levels rose by more than 120 meters. Entire coastlines vanished. Any civilization living near the shore would have been erased completely. If a global culture existed back then, we wouldn't see it today. It would be underwater. The second possibility is the Younger Dryas impact theory. Some scientists believe a comet or asteroid struck the Earth around 12,800 years ago. This could have triggered massive fires, sudden melting, megafloods, and global climate chaos. The timing lines up eerily well with many ancient flood stories. The third possibility is a lost coastal civilization. Humans naturally settle near water. If an early civilization lived along ancient shorelines, rising seas could have wiped it out entirely. Imagine a culture we've never discovered because it lies beneath 100 meters of ocean. If that civilization fell, the survivors would tell stories of a world destroyed by a great flood. There are also archaeological clues that don't fit neatly into our timeline. Göbekli Tepe, for example, was built around 11,600 years ago, right at the end of the Ice Age. It appears suddenly fully formed with advanced stonework and no earlier prototypes. It's as if the builders already knew what they were doing. Then there's Doggerland, a massive landmass that once connected Britain to Europe. People lived there until it vanished beneath rising seas, and scattered around the world are underwater structures like the Bimini Road and the Yonaguni Monument. Are they natural? Are they man-made? Or are they the last traces of a forgotten world? So if the flood myth was real, what does that mean? There are three main theories. The first is that the flood was a real global event. The end of the Ice Age caused massive flooding, and survivors passed the story down for thousands of years until it became myth. The second theory is that a lost civilization was destroyed. A coastal culture, advanced for its time, was wiped out, and the survivors rebuilt from scratch. This could explain sudden jumps in ancient knowledge, advanced stonework appearing out of nowhere, and global myths with the same structure. The third theory is that the flood was both real and symbolic. A real disaster happened, but it also represented the end of an age, a reset, a rebirth of humanity. This is why the story is so universal. It's both history and metaphor. So what if the flood myth was real? Maybe it was a natural disaster. Maybe it was the end of a forgotten civilization. Or maybe it was something far stranger, a memory of a world we no longer understand. But one thing is certain. The flood myth isn't just a story. It's a message carried across thousands of years from people who lived through something extraordinary. And the real question is, what else did they know that we've forgotten? But there's one more layer to this mystery, something rarely discussed. If the flood myth is a memory of a real event, then it means ancient people were not primitive storytellers. They were witnesses, survivors, record keepers of a catastrophe so massive it reshaped the world. And when you look at the timing, something strange happens. The end of the Ice Age, the rise of sea levels, the disappearance of coastal settlements, the sudden appearance of advanced sites like Göbekli Tepe, all of it happens within the same narrow window of time. It's as if humanity went through a reset, a collapse, a rebirth. Some researchers believe this is why ancient cultures speak of the world before and the world after, why they talk about lost ages, forgotten knowledge, and civilizations wiped clean. Maybe they weren't imagining a mythical past. Maybe they were remembering it. And if that's true, then the flood myth. If you enjoy exploring the mysteries of our ancient past, subscribe to All Things Mysterious, where history meets the unknown